flexibility, whether we can, replace some services or how we can bring down the cost. So this Cost Explorer is a, very useful service where you can see all your data, which helps you to manage your AWS account, and it also helps you to maintain the cost. It also helps you to reduce the cost to do the cost optimization activity. So this is the main functionality of Cost Explorer. So we will have a recorded demo after a few slides. So I will show you how how to access these different services also. Okay. So look at this. It also has the forecast and the track records. So look at this. When you will look at this diagram. So if you will see a budget, actually this comes under the AWS budgets, where you can forecast and track the records. Now I will tell you what is budget. So let's take an example. Like we have the marriages in our houses, so we have a particular budget. Okay, that we are going to expand. We are going to expand till 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs. That is our budget. Same way in AWS also we have some service known as AWS budgets. Okay, where where you can define a budget. So for example, like 10 developers are working in my company. I am their team manager. So I have defined a budget for each account like $300. So they like whenever they will start using the services, so some amount will be added on each day basis. So I created a budget, okay, that they can only spend up to $300. So by the end of the month, I can see how many developers has exceeded the threshold, how many developers has used the account in a very efficient way that was under $300. So I have made a budget and I have made it clear that we don't have to waste our amount. It helps you to save a lot of amount, because when you are giving a budget to anyone, then definitely he will think twice before expending something. If suppose I will tell you, okay, I have given you a free account, do whatever you want, create any services, then you won't think on the perspective of budgets. But if I will tell you, okay, for each month you will only get $100 to run the services, so make sure you are using this $100 efficiently and effectively, so that your work also will be done, and I will also not get much burden. A company, our client will also not get much burden that we are spending so much. Okay, so that is a budget. So I have applied $100 budget to each of your account, and you are trying to use the services for learning. And then you will have a mindset that you are going to use the services in such a way that it won't cost $100. And here you can also create the alerts. You can create one alert. Suppose I have 50 developers and I have created a budget of $300 per developer account. Now what is going to happen? I will just create a alert that suppose once any developer is going to exceed that threshold of $300, then I will get an alert that this particular user has already used the $300 amount. So that kind of alert you can set up, so that a person who is setting up all these financial tasks, they will get alerted. They will come to know which particular user is have already exceeded that particular threshold, so that manager can speak to that user that what kind of a services you are consuming here, why you are are you trying to access the services or trying to run the services efficiently or not, whether some services you have run and you stop and you forget to stop those services after use. So all those things then you can question to that particular your teammate or the resources which is working for you. So, and it also helps you to forecast and track the cost. So I told you what is forecast, like a weather forecast. After 2 days, what will be the weather conditions? Like that, you can also forecast your cost. So look at the diagram. So under the budget name, they have created two AWS budget. The first one is total monthly cost. So what they have done is they have created one AWS account and they have provided a budget of $1,000. They told in this account, you have to maximum use $1,000 to run any AWS infrastructure. So currently, suppose if there is 20th day of a month or 25th day of a month, so this is the current usage. So currently, this particular account has consumed $760, and now based on the current usage, it has forecasted that by the end of the month, you will be consuming around $787. That is based on based on the pattern we are using the services it has forecasted one amount. So still this particular, the forecasted amount is still inside the budget, because the budget of our AWS account was $1,000, and as per the forecast also, it is way beyond, like under control. The budget will come less than $1,000. Now let's check out another budget which they have created, that is S3 usage bucket. So look at this, they've created one S3 usage bucket where they're thinking that, how many requests is going to hit your S3 bucket. So suppose, like on the S3 bucket, they have, they have saved some file and which users are trying to access. So they're telling that, so they have created a budget of 3,000 requests, that, a maximum of 3,000 requests is like we will able to entertain in a month. So currently 2,978 requests have already hit that particular S3 bucket, and based on the forecast, it is going to it is going to cross the threshold. It's going to breach the threshold of 3,000, because as per the forecast, the amount of requests will be around 3,650 as per our current usage. So based on that, you will come to know which all budget have exceeded the limit, which all budget were under the limit, so that you can just keep a track. So this is one of the budget, and how these budgets are getting the data. So the input data is from Cost Explorer. Cost, whatever details were added inside the Cost Explorer, that will be input data for your budget. So it will take the data from Cost Explorer, then it is going to forecast, and then it is going to get you the details against your AWS budget which you have defined. So AWS budget, it uses the cost virtualization that is provided by Cost Explorer, and to show you the status of your budget, the status of your AWS budget. Okay, that is the simple that is the simple, I would say, functionality. So just keep the simple functionality of each and every service in the mind, because there are multiple services. Once you will have that simple functionality of a service in your mind, you will be able to relate. Okay, so like Cost Explorer will show you all the cost in a in the form of graphs and all, which is used to maintain your cost, manage the cost of your AWS account. Under the AWS budget, you can create the budget. It is a budget for your AWS account, and based on that, you can utilize your AWS services. You can also create alerts using AWS budgets, so that you will come to know whether whatever threshold you have defined, it got breached, or any kind of alert based on your use case you can create. Here you can also forecast and track the cost. You can see what is the current cost of your usage, and based on that, it will show you the forecasted cost against your budget. So this is the use of AWS budget, where you can define the AWS budget for your AWS accounts. Okay. Now let's check out the other part, that is cost and usage reporting. So as the name says, it is a reporting tool. So here also the input data is of Cost Explorer. So whatever data is present on the Cost Explorer, from there only you're going to create the cost and usage reporting, guys. So this cost and usage reporting gives you the details about all the services which you have used in your particular AWS account. So if you will check out, this table, so it is giving you product code, usage type, operation, availability zone, usage amount, currency code, and line item description. So let's check out the first thing, that is Amazon S3. So there was some user, and so for his account he has used Amazon S3 services. So here it is telling it is of tier 1. Tier 1, I told you the tier pricing. So this is a tier 1 pricing. Operation, it is going to list all the buckets. So it has requested to list all the buckets. And now, the usage amount, and this is the usage amount is there, like $2 is there, and these are the different kind of item description, like things he has done with this AWS S3 bucket. What all actions he has performed, like put, copy, post. These are all HTTP actions. I'm going to tell you, afterward, once we will reach the S3 section. So these are different kind of functions you can do on S3. The HTTPS request. So same way, EC2 is there, S3 is there. So these are services he has used. So everything will be documented in this report in a in a detailed way. So now you can see that under the availability zone, nothing is there in S3, because S3 is a global service. EC2 is a regional service. I will come to this. Okay, EC2 is a EC2 runs in a particular region, and S3 is a global service. Global means it is globally available. and EC2 has a scope of a particular region. Like suppose we have a Mumbai region. So inside a Mumbai region, inside a Mumbai region, we have launched one EC2 service. Okay, so that EC2 service has a scope of that particular region, but S3 is a global service. That's why nothing is coming under availability zone. So the simple factor, funda of this cost and usage reporting is to create the report. It will give you a detailed cost report of the usage of your services inside a particular AWS account, and you can create this report of like of a particular month, of a week, of a single day, or of a year also. So that kind of a different kind of a functionality you have on this particular cost and usage reporting. What is the service available on the AWS platform. Okay, so now you understood all three things. What is cost explorer? What is AWS budget, and what is cost and usage reporting? Okay, so now let me show you with this, like we have few recorded demos, guys. So all the recorded demos I am going to show you. Okay, so that I'm going to explain you all the recorded demos. So you can find all those demos here also. Suppose we are currently on economics and billing. So you will get, all the the same videos here also. So in future, if you want to look out for that particular video, if you want to understand that video again, or if you want to take some reference from that particular video, you can take it from here, from the Canvas portal. Okay, let's run this video. Okay, this is all about all three services which we have just now learned. So for first you have to log into your AWS management console. Okay, so once you log in successfully using your username and password, then you can click on your account. This is the name of the account, Matt Billing @ one number. So this will be your account name. Under here, you can click on My Billing Dashboard. From here, you can access your billing dashboard. So once you will click on the billing dashboard, so look at this. This is the kind of a screen I have explained you yesterday. So here you are getting month to date spent by service. These are the services user is using, and this is the amount he is going to pay to AWS. And here you can see on the left side, you can see current month to date balance. Okay, for this particular month, where you can see even last month is there. Okay, data of last month, and this is your month to date, the current usage of the data, and based on that they have created one forecast based on your current utilization. So that is available. This is your billing dashboard. So it is the same details over here. Okay, now let's see what he is doing. So he's explaining the same thing about your the last month bill, the month to date bill, and your forecasted amount. So from here you can also click on Cost Explorer. So it is directly going to take you to the Cost Explorer, that service, AWS service. Okay, so this is your Cost Explorer AWS service, and look at this. This is all the details are available here also. So this is your current month cost, how much you have invested. It is telling you from past month you have exceeded 27%. Okay, and then you can also see the forecasted cost is there, and you will also see some kind of a additional information, like they are telling they are telling Amazon SageMaker costs are up by $8.90. So if there is any changes in the cost from AWS end, it is going to notify you here only. Okay, on this Cost Explorer page. So you can click on Explore Cost to explore the cost of your account of this particular month. So you can click on Explore Cost. Okay, so just a minute, he explained the same thing about the different kind of details available on your this Cost Explorer platform. Okay, so you can click on Explore Cost. So now it's going to navigate you to one to one page, okay, where you can where you can see all the details. Suppose if you want to group your this usage like your region wise, look at this. Now the data is region wise. Now you can see different regions are there. If you will see at the downside of the screen, you can see US West Oregon, US East Ohio, North Virginia, Sao Paulo, Frankfurt. There are different regions, and all are highlighted with different color, so that it is easy to visualize the details. So suppose if these details you are explaining to your stakeholders, they will be able to understand very easily that how much you are consuming, where you are consuming. They'll be able to understand it easily. So look at this. Our major consumption is in Oregon region. US West. So all maximum services we are running in this region. That's why we are getting billed, high on this particular region. Okay, so this is how you can check out the details regarding the region. Now you can also check out the details instance wise. Suppose like you are like you are using different services. Those services are having different kind of a instance types. To look at this, these are the details which are filtered as instance type. To look at this, these are the type of instances like M4.L large dot Elasticsearch. So there is one service known as Elasticsearch. So under the Elasticsearch, we are using this instance type. Instance type means I will tell you in a very simple form example. Suppose you buy a laptop, guys. So there are different versions of laptop. Okay. So consider them each version as instance type. Suppose I am buying a very basic laptop. Okay, that is for my study purpose. So I will go for 4 GB of RAM, 500 GB of hard disk, etc. 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 So that is suppose that is one version of a laptop or one instance type. Now, let's move to some higher configuration. Suppose I want to do some coding. I want to run some machine learning code. For that, I need some higher, a configuration of a machine. Maybe 8 or 16 GB of RAM, SSD, 500 GB of SSD like that. So that is another higher version. Suppose I am a gamer, I'm a avid gamer, okay, and I need to play, it is my professional, I play a lot of games, so I need a graphic card also. So that is a different version of a laptop. So these all laptop versions you can consider as different instance type. So for Elasticsearch, we are using this instance type. For this, like T2.medium, T1.micro, T2.micro, they're all EC2 instance type. So you can filter out using your instance type filter also. Okay, so apart from that, we can also filter out through services also. We have one, this service filter is also available. And if suppose you are having multiple accounts, so which services are linked to which account. So based on that, there are multiple filters are there. So you can filter out your data as per your requirement. So look at this. Here he is filtering out the data with service. So these are the different services: Elasticsearch, SageMaker, DMS, EC2, Data Pipeline he's using, and now he's getting the data in a particular visual format in different colors, which is very easy to understand. Now you can make out that they are currently using Elasticsearch very heavily. That's why they are getting a lot of bill here for Elasticsearch. So now based on that, they can check out what is the possibility to reduce the cost of Elasticsearch service. Can we do some configuration which can bring down the cost of Elasticsearch, because other components, other AWS services are consumed in a efficient way, but Elasticsearch is consumed heavily. So they can check out some kind of a possibility for cost optimization, because these things, how you will do the cost optimization. You're going to do the cost optimization when you will have some data, when you will have some history data. Based on that only you can do the cost optimization to minimize the cost of your AWS infrastructure. Okay. So now from here also you can create the new report. I've told you, this cost and usage report gets the data from Cost Explorer only. So now you can click on cost and usage report and you can click on create report. So it is going to create a report, a cost and usage report. The data we are getting from Cost Explorer only. Okay, so now look at this. This is the last 3 month details are available. So now you can, like as per your requirement, you can change the rates, you can change the month, you can get a report up to a year also, as I've told you. So based on that you can change and you will get a report. Now look at this is the yearly report segregated with each month. So again we have this kind of a consumption. Okay, February it was low, March it was a little high, May it was high, and June and July we have consumed so much. In June the highest consumption was there, so we can check out what kind, like whether we got many customers on our application, how why we have consumed so much in June, because the other other month we have a less consumption of services. So based on that you can check out, based on this report you can make out some decision. You can get into some kind of a investigation that why the bill was so high for this particular month, why the bill was low in for this particular kind of a month. Okay. Yeah, Elasticsearch I will tell you, Money. Wait, let me finish with this part. Okay, so now you can also save these reports. You can give some meaningful name. Okay, you can let's see what he is giving. He is giving year to date cost. So the name of the report should be unique. So currently that name already exists. So you have to give a unique name every time. Okay. So he is given the name. Now he's saving the report. Now that report is saved. Now you can click on the saved report on the left navigation, and from here you can check out that just now whatever report we have created, it will be showing here. So look at this. Like here at the down, you will have Y2D cost mad billing, which is a report which just now you have created. Okay, so this was about your cost and usage reporting. Now let's check out about budget. So budget also, you will have that option here only on this application only. And now from here you can see this is the AWS budget. So currently, yes, this user has created one budget that is of $300. And this is a monthly budget. And look at this. Currently, the usage is of $39.60. So this is the current usage of the account amount of the AWS account, and it is forecasting that based on the current pattern, how much it will go. It will go up to 294.02, which is under the budget, standard budget. And this is giving you in a percentage and how much we have consumed current versus budget. It is 13%. Once you will click on that particular budget, you will get a detailed screen. Here you can also see this is your current versus budget. So currently you have consumed 39.63, which is 13.21% of your $3,000. Okay, and this is your forecasted versus budget. So once the month will end, so based on your current usage, you are going to expend around $294, which is around 98% of your budget. Apart from that, I've also told you you can also create an alert. So here the user has created one alert that is actual cost exceed 10%. So suppose any user is working, any like a cloud engineer is working on this account, and suppose he has exceeded the budget, and he has like exceeded the budget by 10%. That is your, like, what is the 10% of 300? It is 30. If suppose somebody's billing exceeded reached around $330, that is, it has exceeded the budget, $300 budget, to 10%. 10% of 300 is 30. So if there is any user who has exceeded the budget by 10%, then the person who is the admin of this account will get one alert that this particular user has reached the limit, like it has crossed the limit by 10%. Then based on that, the admin can take the action. He can talk to that particular employer, or he will ask him where exactly you're consuming, so that if they think, if he think that the consumption is getting higher, then he can increase the budget from next month. So this is how you can check out the monthly budget. Okay, and you can see the alerts are there, the forecasted value is there, the current the current consumption is there. So a lot of details are available here. Let's see what else is there on this budget. Okay, let's explain all those things which I've just now explained you. So we are back to that budget screen only, and you can see the same kind of details. All those stuffs are here. Cost Explorer, cost and usage reporting, and your budget are available on this same that billing dashboard only. It will be there. So under the billing dashboard, you will be having a navigation bar, and when you will tap the navigation, then you can check out all these options. So this is about this particular, like this particular recorded demo. So if you want to check out this demo, you can check out this demo on your this Canvas portal as well, because whatever things I'm going to demonstrate you, everything is available on Canvas portal as well. Okay, somebody was asking me what is Elasticsearch. Okay, so actually Elasticsearch is like it is a it is a service which we attached with the servers, so that it is going to cache the content. So for example, you have a browser menu. So suppose if you are searching something on Chrome browser for the first time, so next time if you are trying to search the same thing, it will automatically show you the result. Okay, that it will automatically show you, so that you can just you will get to that page, because it has cached that data. Okay, it has cached the data. Same way, suppose if like the same kind of a request are coming to your application multiple times. If suppose there are 1 million users and you're getting same kind of a request, like suppose I have we are having a e-commerce application, and on that e-commerce application, Levi's has launched some new jeans. So multiple people are trying to access that article only. That new jeans is available from Levi's and onto our portal. So that is the multiple requests. So now we don't want our server to get busy with these multiple requests, the same request. So we're going to attach an Elasticsearch on the top of our server, and whatever will be the whatever will be the the same request which will be coming to server, it will first come to Elasticsearch. From Elasticsearch, it will check out whether the data is cached on Elasticsearch or not. If that data is present on Elasticsearch, it is going to provide the data from Elasticsearch only. So it will help us to reduce the load on our server by helping users to get the details, get all the repeated request will be handled by Elasticsearch. So it is going to cache the data. It's going to cache the data into the Elasticsearch storage, and from there only user will get the answers. So suppose first request is coming to Elasticsearch, like first time I have logged into the e-commerce application, and first time I'm looking for that Levi's jeans. So first request will come to Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch, it will check whether that kind of a data which the user is requesting is available. If it is not available, then it will then it will navigate the request to server. So it will go to the server, the origin server. The server will get the data to it is going to send the data first to Elasticsearch. Now Elasticsearch is having that data, and then data will be sent from Elasticsearch to end user. Now suppose after half an hour money you came, and you also want to check out that same Levi's jeans. So your request will go to Elasticsearch. Now Elasticsearch has that kind of a data. So instead of sending the request to the origin server, it is going to fulfill the request from here only. So thus decreasing the load on your server. So your origin server, which is handling your application, where your application is hosted, will be a bit free. It won't be exhausted with the multiple requests. Cache means which is used to cache the data. Elasticsearch is having a cache. Cache is used to it is going to save the data for some time. Cache is used to save the data temporarily. So our your laptops are also having cache. Sorry, your browsers are also having cache. So it's going to save the data for some time. Maybe you can define, suppose, to cache the data for half an hour. Okay, for half an hour you will cache the data. So that data will be available in that Elasticsearch for half an hour. After that, whenever any request is coming after half an hour, that will go to the server, and then then the data will be loaded to Elasticsearch again, and then user will get the data. So cache holds the temporary data. I don't want to go into this topic now, but somebody asked me. So just you have to understand, Elasticsearch is used to provide user data to the users. All the multiple requests which are coming to server will first go to the Elasticsearch service, and then if the data is not available on Elasticsearch, then only the request will go to the origin server. If the data is cached into the Elasticsearch, then Elasticsearch is going to provide the data to your user. Okay. So he's asking if the jeans is available after 30 minutes, means does the data gets updated? Data will get updated. That is a different concept. Data, everything will get updated. It is not like it is going to have a stale data for every time. There is some there is some concept as time to live. I don't want to go into detail now. Once you reach out this session, and then I will explain you. For now, you now understood what is Elasticsearch. That is enough for you. Once we reach out to this, there are multiple things inside this Elasticsearch also. There is one TTL which you have to define. There is time to live. Okay, so stale data will be there, but you can minimize that stale data. Stale data means the old data. You can minimize that part also. Multiple configurations are there, money. Okay, but I think now you understood what is Elasticsearch. Other also. Is it clear? Okay, cool. Okay, guys. So just now we have checked the demo of few services which we have discussed. Now let's move to section number 5, where we are going to discuss about the technical support, the kind of a technical support AWS is providing to us. Okay, so let's check out the technical supports. So these are the technical support which is providing by AWS. So suppose whenever you will buy any developer, whenever you will create any account, there are three type of AWS subscription plans or accounts: basic account, developer, and third one is enterprise. Okay, so basic will also have some kind of a basic support. Developer will have some enhanced support, and enterprise will have a their best support, because they are expanding. What is it? Because they are giving some amount to AWS. That's why. So let's take an example of Netflix, or I would say Hotstar. If you're not a Hotstar subscriber, then you can only see some data which is free. Suppose if you have, subscribed to Hotstar for a month, then you can see the services for a month. If you have, subscribed as a VIP, then you can see some content. If you have taken the highest subscription of our Hotstar, then you will get some more privilege. So that is the difference between the different level of subscription with any particular product. Let's check out the support. So provides AWS supports provide unique combination of tools and expertise. Your AWS support, your AWS supports plan. So we all know there are three kind of AWS supports plans are there. You have your basic business developer and your enterprise one. So based on the different kind of a support, the different kind of a plan AWS provide supports. Support is provided. For what purpose AWS provided the support? First of all, experimenting with AWS. Suppose like you are an enterprise. You told we want to move to cloud. So you have signed an agreement with AWS, and they told okay, you start using AWS, and if there is any issue, we are going to support you. So you can experiment with AWS account, and if you are stuck somewhere, we will support you there. Okay, we will provide you support, like we will provide you the solution. Like if you're like with any product, like suppose you are ordering a pizza from Domino's. If your pizza is not coming on time, then you will chat with support, or you will call the support team and ask them what is the status of my order, where is my pizza. The same thing, if somebody is stuck somewhere, or they if they need some guidance, then this AWS people is going to support you. Who are these are AWS engineers who are working inside Amazon Web Service. Amazon Web Service is a company, AWS, where people comes, like multiple people works, and they support all their customers. It is a very customer centered company where they give equal privileges to each and every customer. So that's why they have a very good support plans. And other thing, if suppose you are running your like production, what do you say, workload, I would say your application is deployed on your AWS. For that also, if some issue will come, then they are able to help you out. Business critical use of AWS. If suppose like if your application is already running on your like AWS, and some issue comes which you want also, and you're not able to troubleshoot that, and you need some guidance from AWS so that they can help you, so that you can troubleshoot that issue. That kind of a business critical issue also, they're going to provide you a support. But actually you will get a maximum support if you are taking enterprise subscription, the enterprise account guys. Okay, so who are the these are some of the people who are going to support you through AWS support. The first one is proactive guidance. So whenever suppose you will create an enterprise account, for basic it is not possible, guys. When you're creating some developer or enterprise account, then you will get this technical account manager. So this is this is a person. He is one of the human entity, who will be the tag point of contact from AWS end. Suppose you are a company and you have moved to AWS. So you have asked them that you are going to use your services, and you have created multiple accounts. So this is going to be a technical account manager which will assign to your company. So tomorrow, if you are having any issue, there will be a person whom you can report. That will be your point of contact from AWS again. So this is going to resolve all your technical issues. Suppose your team is working on like any services, and they're facing any issue in any particular service, then you can connect with technical account manager. He's going to take your query because he's the point of contact, and then he's going to assign some engineer who is the expert of that particular service, and then he will help you to resolve the issue. So he's a person who is taking care of your company's account, because all the query will come to this guy only, because he is the point of contact for your company. Suppose you are creating you are an enterprise, you are using thousands of AWS accounts, so he will be the point of contact. And from once he will get the details of the issue, he is going to engage the correct people to help you out. Second, for best practices, you can use AWS Trusted Advisor. AWS Trusted Advisor is an AWS service. It is an AWS online service. So when you will log into your management console, if you will search AWS Trusted Advisor, you will get one. You can reach out to this service, AWS Trusted Advisor. It is one of the AWS services. So suppose you have started creating your infrastructure, or you have already created the infrastructure. Now suppose if you need some best practices, regarding your infra. Suppose like you have created an infra, and now you think that I think let's check out with AWS engineers whether whatever infra we have created, whether it is up to the mark, or they can recommend us something so that our infra will be more secure, more robust, more reliable, highly available. So what these guys will do, it is they like you can you can create a request. They're going to ask you the permission whether they can check out the infra. From the backend, they have few tools. They have few tools so that they can access your like they can access your account, but with your permission only. They will ask you the permission. Once you will get the permission, then what is going to happen? They're going to scan your infra. They're going to check out the infra, and based on that, they're going to provide you some recommendation whether you can like you have configured the service in this way. Try to configure it in this particular way. You will get like you're going to save some amount, or this will be more robust, this will be more secure. Like that you will get best practices and guidance from AWS trusted advisors. Now suppose the third part, the account assistant. So you have AWS support consults. So these are the consults are the people who work on non-technical issues. So, for example, if suppose you have bought an enterprise plan and you are facing some issue while creating the AWS accounts for your like teammates or sub accounts, then they can help you. If suppose one month one bill got generated, okay, for a month, and you are not able to understand that bill clearly, then you can check out with them. They will help you in financial also. So whatever, they will help you to understand the bill. They will help you how you can do the payment. So all the non-technical tasks, like related to your account creation, account deletion, at the account level and at finance level. If you're facing an issue in the side AWS billing, you guys going to help you. The AWS support concept. So these are the three kind of a support, three kind of features of AWS support. So you won't be getting any kind of a question, okay, with the support, but just for your knowledge, I'm telling you what is AWS support. Okay, some support plans you already know what are the supports, what are the different kind of a support plans. The basic support plan is there: resource center access, service, help dashboard, product FAQ, discussion forum. So these all things which they will provide you under the basic support. You will be able to check out all the services. Whether you take basic support, developer or enterprise, you will be able to access all the services. That is the best part. Okay. Apart from that, you can also check the service help dashboard. Suppose you are using any EC2 service, you can also check out whether in that particular region that EC2 service is healthy or not. Healthy means it is up or not. You can also check out all the product FAQs. FAQs means frequently asked questions. Suppose you are trying to access S3 bucket and you want to check out some FAQs, you can check out that also. Some discussion forums are of there of AWS, you can check out that. Okay, so all these things come under basic support. Suppose when you move to developer support, it will support for entirely development on AWS. So when you are taking developers support subscription, that time what going to happen is, suppose you are a developer, you're trying to develop something on, you're going to develop your application on AWS. So in between you can connect with your AWS engineers and they're going to help you throughout this development of your application. Then you have business support or enterprise support. Actually, there's no kind of a business support because they've already seen we have enterprise support. So you can consider this business and enterprise support as a same stuff. So customers that are running the production workload, or they are they are running the business and mission critical workloads. So all these comes under enterprise support, where multiple production applications are are hosted on the like AWS platform. They are running critical applications. So these all comes under enterprise support. So if you have any issue regarding your production workload means like we have different kind of environments in our in our what is it, like software development life cycle. So the what is it, the software or application which runs under the production environment is the one which is exposed to the customers. So your application is live, which from where the customers can interact, that runs under your production environment. Apart from that, you have the testing environment, the developer environment. Inside the developer environment is used by developers to write the code or to check out the functionality of the application. They use that. Then you have the testing environment where all the testing happens. Like that, you have like that you have a production environment where your production where your production application is running. That is the production workload. So if you have any issue regarding the production application or your or some business critical application issue, then if you are having this enterprise support, then they're going to help you in that part also. So this is the some kind of a support plan which we have already seen. Just now I have explained you. Now let's check out what is case severity and response time. So whenever suppose like you have created one, what do you say, like basic account, and you are having some issue with billing. So you have created one service request so that they can check out the details and they can provide you the resolution. So that whenever you will create the service request, that is known as case. So that will be converted to one case and that will be assigned to one AWS engineer. And then AWS engineer is going to work on that support case and is going to provide you the solution. So each request inside AWS is known as case. So that case is one issue that is raised by customer, and AWS engineer is going to resolve that issue and is going to provide you the resolution. Okay, and these are the different kind of a severity, like critical is there, urgent is there, high is there, normal is there. No, cases are not chargeable for basic. Okay, like that's why if you would have concentrated on that video which I've shown you how to create the AWS account, there were few charges. For basic, there was no charge. For developer account, if you will create a developer kind of association, you will be paying $29. So when that is a monthly fees, the starting price. So all these activities comes inside that only. When you are creating a basic, then you can only ask a question about financials. It is not chargeable for basic. But when you are using a developer or enterprise subscription, then each month you will be giving some charges. So these charges are directly aligned to these only, so that these guys can help you out. So you can say it is chargeable when you're using developer or enterprise account. Some amount will be deducted on a monthly basis for taking out for using these privileged services. But for basic account, if you are creating any case, then it is not chargeable for the basic because you will have a limited access. You can only create a query for your financial issues. You can't create a query for the technical because it is not supported. Because basic is a free plan, guys. Okay, money. So now look at this. What is severity? So critical, urgent, high, normal, low. These are the severity. Severity means how severe is the situation. Okay, how severe is the? You don't have to mug up money. You don't have to mug up. Nobody is asking you. Just try to understand everything. Few things which are required, you have to understand in deep. These things, just understand. Don't mug up anything. Okay. Once you will do the revision, you will be able to get all these details. Nobody is asking you at this part. Just for your explanation, we have included all this stuff, but nobody is asking what is the what is the response time of developers. That kind of a question would be here in the examination. Examination will contain all kind of application related issues or questions. Okay, to create the infra, to bring the cost optimization, all kind of stuff. Okay, guys. So I was talking about the severity. So suppose what are these different kind of a severity? So suppose whenever suppose some critical happen, your application is hosted on AWS on 10 servers. Suppose 9 servers are down. Now your application is only available on a single server. That is a critical situation because definitely when the application was running on 10 servers, you were having that kind of a workload. Now a single server won't be able to handle that. Definitely some customer would be getting an error. Your application won't be working smooth. That is a critical case. Urgent is also there. Suppose suppose your 7 machines are down, 3 are up. So that is an urgent case. So these critical and urgent issues should be resolved sooner. Should be resolved in very less time. Now what is this high priority? Suppose this high severity is, suppose your 5 servers are down, still the half servers are holding your application. So still the impact is not that much. It depends on the impact. When a whole application is down, the impact is high. That's why that case is critical. Has to be resolved in very, very minimum time. If suppose 2 servers are up, 8 servers are down, that is urgent. That is an urgent issue, needs to be addressed soon, needs to be resolved soon because still the application is up, but it is not able to fulfill all the requests because it is only running on very, very minimum resources, only on 2 servers. Now high, that the issue is, the impact is normal, but this issue is high. That half of the infra is down. So please check on this issue and try to, provide a resolution. Now, what are the normal and low, case severity? Inside normal, suppose, only one server is down, nine is still up, your application is running fine, or none of the user has reported an issue, only one server is down, but you want all your servers to be up. So you can check out with AWS whether there was any hardware failure. So they can take some time and they can provide you a resolution because it is not impacting you. Now, what is low? Suppose your application is working fine. You want to create a report. Suppose cost and usage report. You are telling I'm not able to create a report from my AWS account. You can sign up, you can create a ticket, create a business case, and then they're going to help you out why you are not able to create a report from cost and usage. That is a low priority issue, which can take some time, which is not impacting. Everything depends on the impact. If your application is having a great impact, then the severity of the case will be critical urgent. If your application is having it is having a very low impact, you can consider a high severity issue. If there is no impact or a very low impact, or no impact, I would say, then you can lodge a normal or low severity kind of a ticket. So these are the different kind of a severities. Yes, Raghavendra. Inside, if you will, once you will go to, once you will get a job and you'll be working in this profile, suppose if anyone works inside their operation role, then you have, the tools where you will get all these cases or tickets. So the different variety of tickets are the P1, P2, P3, P4 we have. So P1 means critical tickets, P2 means high ticket, P3 means medium ticket, and P4 means low ticket. So same thing, you can consider it as a severity. So if you're having any if you're having any critical ticket, then that means that you have to respond to that ticket quickly. You have to provide the resolution also very very quick. Now let's understand what is response time. Okay. So what is response time? So whenever suppose I am a AWS engineer and Money is my one of the customer who is using AWS service. Now Money has got some issue. Okay. And Money has created one case of critical priority. Okay. So now once that case will come to our team, suppose I am working in Amazon team. Okay. Once it will come to our team, in how much time I have assigned that case to my user ID. So whenever any case will come to AWS people, it will be in a new status. Once I will take it to my name, then it will become in progress. That now I have started looking into the issue. So how quickly I am checking out that particular issue is the response time. So now look at this. Based on the different case severity, we have a different response time. So let's check out. I will come to your question, Money. Let me finish with this. So look at this. When you're using a basic plan, there is no case support. Case support is there only for your financial issues. So if you're having any issue with your billing, you will have that kind of a support. So inside that, there is no guarantee. Maybe after 4 days they're going to respond to you. After 7 days they're going to respond to you. Because that is our basic support. Now let's come to the business, which is a developer plan. So developer plan, they're going to only respond to you in the business hours. Suppose what are the business hours? Suppose 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. are the business hours. Generally in India. If suppose I am having some global application, I'll do one thing. Okay, maybe I'll just extend some business hour. My business hour is going to start from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Let's consider we are the 12 hours business time. So suppose whatever issue you're going to case you're going to create from a developer's plan, that will be addressed only inside the business hour. So today suppose I've created let's consider the business hour as 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now suppose I'm working as a developer in night around 10 p.m. I was encountered with some issue, so I created one case. So now that case will be assigned to some user, but will be sent to AWS. Now some user will take that case once their business hour will start. So after 8 p.m. once they will come into their office, they're going to take out they're going to take that case on their name. They're going to start working. Now what is the response time for developers? So for normal and you can only raise normal and low severity cases. This is the except these are the limitations of developer plans. So they're going to respond to you in 12 hours or less when you're creating a normal severity case, and if you're creating a low severity case, they're going to respond in 24 hours or less. This is the response time. They're going to respond you in this time, guys. Okay. So now, now let's check out this business plan. So in business plan and in your enterprise plan, they're going to support you 2027. There will be some dedicated people who are going to work in different shifts, providing the support 24/7. So if you are getting any kind of a issue, they're going to take your issue and they're going to provide you a solution 24/7 throughout the day, 24 hours. 24/7 means 24 hours and 7 days a week. Okay. So look at this. Only one exception is there. You cannot create a critical case when you're using a business plan. Otherwise, if you are creating an urgent case, then you will get a response in 1 hour or less. If you're creating a high case, you are getting a response in 4 hours or less. If you're creating a normal case, you'll get in 12 hours or less, and for you it is 24 hours or less. So as I told you, it depends on the impact. When you are creating an urgent ticket, that means you need some support from AWS urgently. So they're going to respond you within an hour. That is the SLA, service level agreement. If they're not going to respond you within this hour, then their SLA is going to be breached. Service level agreement. That is an agreement between companies and AWS. Then they have to pay some penalty. Okay. So based on the agreement, these things works. And let's move to enterprise plan. Everything is common. With business plan only, you have an additional advantage that here you can create critical cases also. And whenever you're creating a critical case, you will get a response within 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, suppose you have raised some critical case, somebody will start, once they will get the ticket, they will respond to you that we are looking into the issue, and they will start working on this. That is a response time, guys. Okay, so you understood how, based on the case severity, how the response time changes. So once you will, suppose in future if you're working as a cloud operation engineer, there you will see all this stuff, guys. Okay. When you're supporting any client, then you will see all this stuff. Okay. So thus we get alert from CloudWatch. That is a different concept. Money alerting also we get from CloudWatch. Okay, but that is different from this case severity. Yes, we get. Can you please let me know how is the severity classified? The severity is classified based on the impact, Srikanth. Suppose you are let me take an example. You are running like any company. If your whole product is down, if your application is down, then how you will classify that? Will you classify it as a normal issue or a critical issue? Definitely, it will classify as a critical issue. Now, suppose your application is working fine and you are not able to you have deployed your application on AWS, so not able to use some AWS service which you want to use inside your application infra. That time it is not impacting. The impact is low because your application is running fine. You are able to interact, only you are having some issue with particular service. Then you can raise a low ticket based on your business impact. That is the thing, Srikanth. If your business is getting impacted, that is critical, urgent, or high. If it's not getting impacted, you can consider it as normal or low. If it's a global impact, that is critical. If there's an impact in a particular region, suppose you have a global application, you're only European users are not able to access your application, that will be an urgent issue. Okay, based on that. Okay, guys. So there can be multiple region money. Maybe based on the suppose some hardware failure is there, some automatically patching started sometime, and suppose some issue from your application and also. So when any application comes down, there are multiple factors. It can be the hardware failure, or some at the back end some patching started that has bring down that has made all the system that has bring down all the system, or maybe some application failure, maybe some application component is not working. So there are multiple reasons of failures. Okay, money. Okay, guys. So I think I have answered the queries, and okay, so let's wrap up this module and then we're going to go for a break. So what we learned in this module, first of all, the fundamental of AWS pricing. Now we know how AWS is going to charge you, what is total cost of ownership that we have understood, and what is AWS pricing calculator. So yesterday I've given you one, yesterday I've given you one homework, pricing calculator homework. I hope you would have completed that. If not, then I'm going to perform it today, but please try to complete it now. Okay, cool. So, money, what happens, whenever you're working in any company, there's one concept of troubleshooting. You have to troubleshoot the issues. You have to check out. Suppose, you found your application is down. First, you will log into your AWS account. You will check out whether the server which is hosting your application are running or not. If you find that those are down, that means like your servers are down. Then you can check out. You just try to start the server. If it's not getting started, then you can check out with AWS, and they are going to provide you whether some patching is going on or there is some hardware failure. They're going to work on that like that. If you think that your servers are up, that means it is your application failure. Some application some application is component is there which is not working. Patching, I told you, I think you're not concentrating. Yes, I told you what is patching. It is software patching. Suppose you are using your Windows laptop. Your Windows laptop is after a month or after a few weeks, every time you will get some Windows update, which you need to click on that Windows update so that you will get the latest update. So when your system goes into that update and after that it will get restart, that is a patching, so that your system will be up to the date. All the new update from Microsoft will be installed in your system. Same way, when you're using a software is created from multiple, what do you say, components. Suppose, like you have written your code in Java. Now you want to upgrade your Java version. Suppose you have, you have done, you are using MySQL. You want to upgrade that MySQL version, and also all those things to make your software up to date. That's why we use patching. Yeah. Yeah, you have to update. Like if you're using a managed service, then you don't have to update the servers. If you're not using a managed services, then you're going to update the server. Now, don't ask me what is manage and manage. I'm going to tell you once we will get to that particular point of the course. Okay. Now let's guys. So we'll discuss this AWS pricing calculator. After that, we have seen what is a billing dashboard, and finally, just now we have discussed what is technical support options available on AWS. So let me ask you one simple question. Okay, so answer me this question, then we're going to go for a break. So which AWS service provides infrastructure security optimization recommendations? First, AWS price list application programming interface, reserved instances, AWS trusted advisor, and finally, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud Spot Fleet. I got answer from Money. What about others? Read out the question again. I'll give you some more seconds. If you're not able to understand the question, read out the question again and try to answer. I've only received 3 answers, guys. What about others? We have around 50, strength. Yeah. Let me give you a few more seconds so that can also answer. Guys, please participate in this question. That will be helpful for you. It will check your understanding. Okay. Okay, so let me reveal the answer. I got multiple answers and most of you guys are correct. Very good. So let's check out. So it is telling recommendations. So which particular service gives you the recommendations? So the correct answer is AWS Trusted Advisors. So as I told you, what is AWS Trusted Advisors? From here you will get best recommendations related to your AWS infrastructure. Now why other options are not correct? Option A, AWS price list application programming interface. So this is used by developers. If suppose if they want to get the price of AWS services, they can use this API. Reserve instances, reserve instances bring down the cost. It is a part of compute family where you can where you can purchase the instances in with the help of contract in a discounted price. Now C is correct, I've told you. Now D, why D is incorrect? Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud Spot Fleet. So Spot are also one kind of a instances where you can purchase these spot fleets. So that also does not provide any recommendations. So the correct answer is AWS Trusted Advisor. Okay, this is the correct answer. Okay, guys. So some stuff, nothing but the same, documentation. You can check out that. Okay, so let's go for the break, guys. And once I'll be coming from the break, we're going to start. We're going to start with module three. And before ending the session, I'm going to take that example. Okay, the yesterday one, which I've given you as an homework. We're going to perform that activity. Okay, so thank you so much, and I'm going to see you after 5 minutes. Thank you, guys. Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys are back. So let's start now. Okay, so now we're going to start with another module, that is AWS Global Infrastructure Overview. So let's check out the topics. So here you're going to learn what is AWS Global Infrastructure, what are the components which create this global infra of AWS, then what are different AWS service categories and the overview of the categories. Though I've already showed you those categories, so let's check out the details again. After that, you will be having one demo of AWS Global Infra. So I'm going to show you that particular part. And then one activity will be there of AWS Management Console click through. So I think I've already showed you the console part. So this is done. I will show you again, no problem. And then knowledge check will be there of one or two questions, the same way which we had in our last module. So once you will complete this module, then you'll be able to identify the difference between AWS. Okay, I'm not audible. What about what about others? Can you hear me, guys? Ashta, can you please check your connection because I am, others can hear me. Please reconnect. Okay. So we are going to identify the difference between regions, availability zone, and edge locations. So these are the components which are used to create your AWS infra. We are going to discuss in detail. After that, identify different AWS service categories and services. Okay. So let's get started with section number one. That is AWS Global Infrastructure. So AWS Global Infrastructure is designed and built to deliver a flexible, reliable, scalable, and secure cloud computing environment with high quality global network performance. Okay, so global infrastructure means AWS has created multiple data centers, okay, across the globe, and all those data centers are connected to each other so that they have created a huge network throughout the globe, and you are going to use their services, and you're going to create a reliable, stable, and secure application using their global infrastructure. So all the hardware that they have created across the globe and how they've connected the hardware. So that is the AWS global infrastructure. So AWS global infrastructure is mainly created with the help of AWS regions, availability zones, and your point of presence, which is also known as edge locations. Okay, so we are going to discuss all these components in details. So let me just tell you, okay, about this. There is one, you know, uh, we have this one tool is there, okay, where you can check out how many regions are there, how many availability zones are there, how many edge locations are there. You can check out that part. So I clicked on this. Let me ping you this. Okay, let me ping you this to the chat. So you can also use this. Okay. So you can get this URL from the chat. Okay guys, so look at this now. I've told you the AWS global infra is created with the help of regions, availability zone, and point of presences. And this point of presence is known as edge locations. So if we will check out here, we are currently inside the North America. So inside the North America, the one with this orange. The one on this map, the one which is highlighted with the orange are your regions. So inside North America, we have these two regions. One is your US East region, one is your US West region. So US East region is also known as North Virginia. Okay, and your US West region is known as North California region. Inside that we are having inside in North Virginia we have 6 availability zone. Inside California we have 3 availability zone. And then the one with these dots, the blue dots are known as edge locations. So you can see there are multiple edge locations. Actually, edge locations are higher in number because these are small units as compared to availability zones. Okay, these are small units. Excuse me, let me just plug in the charger, laptop, right here. Sorry. So now you understood inside a region, inside a particular AWS region. Okay. Inside a no problem. If you're not able to copy, if you're Ashmit, I will come to that. What are availability zone? Everything I will come to. These will be discussed in coming slides. If you're not able to copy the link, don't worry. Once you will get the Canvas access, you can check out this under the student resources and you can get the link from there. So yeah, okay. It will be available to you throughout the Canvas. Okay. So guys, you understood. Just to identify, I just want to tell you that this particular URL shows you how many regions are there, how many edge location availability zones are there. So how you identify them, I'm just telling you. And what are these region, edge location, availability zones we are going to discuss now. Just you concentrate how to identify them. Okay, so this is one region I've told you. Edge locations, there are so many edge locations are there. Okay, look at this. These are all edge locations are there, and these are the region. And you will also see some government cloud is there, and these companies, this public cloud provider, they have separate government cloud, which can be used by government agencies. Like in India, we have RAW. RAW doesn't work on the public cloud. So if suppose AWS is in India, and if a government asks them to provide a different cloud space that will be different, that will having more privileges, then they will create on government cloud. Then government cloud will be given to that particular agencies so that they can host their applications and they can work very like in a very private way, in a very secure way. That is government cloud. Now suppose if you move to another South America. So in South America, we have one region and these are the availability zone. If you come down, look at this. In South America, we have only one Sao Paulo region, which is having 3 availability zones, and these are the edge locations. These are the edge locations. Look at this. These are the edge locations. And now look at this. If you will go to Europe, Middle East, Africa, these are the orange one are the region and the blue one are your edge locations. If you come down, look at this. And here, like under your Europe or Europe or like what is this? Yeah, Middle East or Africa. We have Ireland region, Frankfurt, London, Paris, etc. You don't have to mug up. Nobody is asking you, just for your knowledge that it is a global presence. How it is global presence? They have created a small geographical regions so that they can cover the whole globe. Okay, and these are the edge locations. So look at this. So many edge locations are here. And you will ask me what is the regional edge caches. These are also the part of point of presence. I'm going to tell you that regional edge cache. These are also the part of point of presence. So I'm going to explain that also. Okay. Yeah. Salate, I'm going to explain you that region and edge location. I'm not yet come to the topic. I'm just telling you how to identify. Okay. So now if you come to Asia Pacific, now look at this Asia Pacific. These are the these orange one are your regions and these are blue one are your edge locations. So look at this. In region you have China, Singapore, Tokyo, and here you will find Mumbai also. In India, they have created a Mumbai region. That is a part of AWS regions. Okay, and these are the edge locations and regional edge caches. So this is how you can identify. Now let's come to each and every component. Let's discuss about these components, guys. So let me just come back here. So this I've already showed you, okay, through this particular URL. So let's come down. Now let's discuss these components one by one. First of all, AWS regions. Region is a geographical area. Yes, definitely. India is a geographical area. It's like you can consider it as a region. USA is a geographical area on the globe. So like that, AWS has created their own region. So With the help of those regions, they have covered the whole globe. So AWS region is something, it is just a geographical area, some area. Like, like in India, they have created a Mumbai region. So it is covering the near part of that particular region. So inside the Mumbai, they've created their resources and they've made it as a particular region, which is a geographical area, which is connected to other regions like North Virginia, California, Frankfurt, China, etc., etc. So they have created multiple regions. Around 22 regions are there, guys. 22 regions are there till now. So these 22 regions are created in such a way that it can cover the whole globe. Like Sydney is there, like in Europe, multiple regions are there. US multiple regions are there. In Asia, just now I showed you in that particular, that URL. So they have created the region in such a way which is going to cover some geographical area, so that with the help of all these 22 regions, it is going to cover the whole globe. So that if you are in like if you are in Sydney, you can use AWS. If you are in any part of US, you can use AWS. Antarctica is an exception. They don't have any data center over there in Antarctica. Okay. So they are covering with the help of this region. They have created an AWS regions to cover the globe. So it is just a geographical area. Okay. So now what is availability zone? Okay. So availability zones are inside your AWS regions. So if you will remember, I've told you for this, suppose, for this Mumbai region, we have 3 availability zones. So availability zones are your exact data centers. These are your hardware units. So where they have created the data centers. So each availability zone you can consider of one data center or multiple data centers which they can create. So inside the data center, they have all the hardware components which they are providing you to use as a AWS services. That is a different. Inside region, you will have availability zones. Availability zone contains the data centers, one or more data centers where your exact hardware is placed. And they have created the region so that they can cover all the across the globe, and all regions are connected to each other. Okay. So now some points regarding the region. Now you understood. Availability zone is a part of a region which contains the data centers, and region is only a geographical area. So if suppose, let's say this is a Mumbai region. So inside the Mumbai region, we have 3 availability zones. So all 3 availability zones will be created, like with a difference of around 600 to 700 kilometers. If there is a single data center, each availability zone can have multiple data center also. What is a data center? It is a single place where you can put all the hardware. So suppose if there is a single data center, then 2 data centers will be around 500 or 600 kilometers apart. So that if something will happen to one data center, it won't impact the another data center. Let's suppose there are multiple data centers inside a single availability zone, it will be around 40 to 50 kilometers apart. So if there are three data centers which are 50 kilometers apart, that all 3 data centers will be considered as a single availability zone. So availability zone actually contains the data centers, and these are inside your AWS region. Now let's check out what are some details about AWS region. Data replication across region is controlled by you. Definitely. What do you mean by data replication? Data replication means you are replicating your data. Okay. Replicating of like data means you are making a copy of a data. So when suppose you are having any application which is running in multiple regions. For example, you have a global application where you have a European clients also, customer where you are also entertaining your US clients, Indian also. So in Kaushal, don't worry. Next slide is availability zone. There also I will explain the availability zone again. Okay, just concentrate on what I'm trying to tell you now. So suppose you want to replicate your your application is running from India. You want to replicate the data to US region so that your data will be available in multiple copies. So if you want to replicate the data from across the region, that is controlled by the end user. Suppose I am the owner of the company, so I have the right whether I want to replicate the data to different region. If I want to replicate data, I can use some kind of a a service feature so that my data will be replicated across region. That is why it is controlled by end user. It is my wish whether I want to replicate the data across region. Second, communication between regions uses AWS backbone network infrastructure. So all the communication, look at this diagram, Ireland, London, Paris, Frankfurt, these are all regions which are connected to each other. So these are all connected through AWS backbone network. These are not connected to the public network. These are all connected to the private network, which is the AWS network, backbone network, which is pretty much, what is it? Like, like when it comes to speed, it is, it is having more speed compared to the normal network. So they have created a dense backbone network, and through that backbone network, each region is connected to another region. Each region will provide full redundancy and connectivity to the network. Okay, so each region is connected to each other, I told you, and they have a full redundancy. Means like data will be stored. If suppose you are storing a data, so inside a single region, the data will be stored in multiple availability zones. That is the meaning of redundancy. Your data is having a multiple copies, so that if any single copy will be lost, then too your data will be persisting. So it is fully redundant. So there are less chances you will be losing any data when you are using AWS. Okay. A region typically consists of two or more availability zones. I told you, inside a region you have availability zone. You can have minimum two and maximum depends how much, but minimum you should have two availability zone. Once you will have two availability zone, then you can consider that as a region. Okay, so region will have two or more availability zones. So this was about region. It is a geographical area where data replication is controlled by us. The communication between each region is through the AWS backbone network. Each region is connected to each other, having a full data redundancy. The data which is residing of the application that which is residing on AWS storage, everything is copied across the availability zone because region contains two or more availability zones. Okay, now this is about region. Now let's check in which scenario how you should select a region, because there are they have given a 4 scenarios. Based on that, you can take a decision whether you want to create your AWS infrastructure in a particular region or not. First of all, data governance legal requirement. So for example, if you are trying to launch your application inside India, we want to select an Indian region from where you are going to control your application, which is running throughout the globe. So you have to check out all the data governance policy and legal requirement. Every company will have their different kind of a law. Like inside the Europe, there is a law that you cannot store users' data outside the Europe. Suppose you are running any application and you have you have a you have used European region for your application, then your data should be there in that particular region. So that means when you move from across the countries, like from Europe to US, India, there are different legal requirements and data governance policies are there. So if you think a particular policy fits for you, then you can select that particular region. Maybe Indian government is having a different set of policies which are different from Europe or US. So you can think if this kind of a policy fits for you, it is fine. You are fine with all the legal requirement. Then you can choose that region to build your infrastructure. Second, proximity to customers, latency. So suppose I have just launched my application in India because I am thinking I would start from India. I want to target Indian market. Okay, so I'm going to choose Mumbai region because my target audience is Indian audience only. So if I will create my application and host my application on Mumbai region, then definitely the customer are only Indian, so they won't be having the latency. Now, what is the latency? Latency means the amount of time. Suppose this is one origin server where application hosted. There is one user which is sitting somewhere across the globe, so he's trying to access your application. So he's going to send the request. Request will come to origin server. From here, the response will go to customer. So the amount of time this whole request and response process is going to take, that is your latency. So if the time is higher, if suppose I'm trying to request something from the application and getting response after 2 minutes, that means there is a 2 minutes of latency. So you have to make sure that whatever region you are choosing as per your audience, it should have very less latency. Because if suppose, let me give you the same example. I've launched my application in India, and I'm targeting Indian student, Indian people. If suppose there was someone who is from America, they just came to know about my application. They're trying to hit, they are trying to access the application. So the people who are in India, they will be able to get the response very faster, because the traveling time of that request is very low. Somebody is trying to access my application from Bangalore, then the request will travel from Bangalore to Mumbai server. That is very, very less. Network travels very, very fast it travels. So the traveling time is very less. That's why the latency will be very, very reduced. They will get a very speedy reply from the application. Okay. But now suppose that somebody is sitting in US, they're trying to access your application. The distance is very far. So they will get a response in some part of a latency. Maybe they will get a response in few seconds. Maybe they will get a response after 30 seconds. So there's a little bit latency. You have to make sure whatever region you are going to, you're going to choose, that will have a low latency. Third one is service available within region. Actually, all the major services are available in every region. But suppose if you want to use some kind of a services, so there is some issue, not issue, I would say, like few services are not available in each region. So suppose you have to make sure that whatever component, whatever AWS services you want to use as a part of your application infrastructure, you have to make sure that all those services should be present in that particular region. Okay, so that is also one of the decision taking thing. Finally, the cost. I've told you the cost of your, the cost of your this thing. AWS services vary from region to region. So if you're trying to buy a particular EC2 instance in US, not within the region, the price will be different of that same instance in Mumbai region. Not very, very high difference. Little bit difference will be there. But when you create a whole infra, then you can stand out with some kind of a difference. You will get some kind of a difference. So you have to make sure that you have to choose a region which is fitting to your pocket, which you think, okay, the costs are not high. You're going to launch an application inside this particular region. So these are the four steps. Like first of all, your the government policies, then your latency factor. After that, the services should be available, which you want to create infra, and finally the cost also matters. Now, money is asking me in the freedom governance area, can I run my application from there to globe? From anywhere you can run the application. Just you have to take care of the data governance policies. From suppose you are sitting in India, you can launch your application in US also. So that is not an issue. Okay, so you can run it from anywhere. Just you have to make sure that whatever actions you are doing, that is not going against the policies of that particular region. Okay, that's it. Okay, so with the help of this, you can determine the right region for your service application and data based on these four factors. Now let's discuss about what is availability zone. Now let's check out the diagram. First, I will tell you the diagram. Suppose let's consider this is one EU West region. There is some EU West region is inside the Europe. Inside this region, we have three availability zones. So I've told you, availability zone are inside the region. So each region can have minimum of two or minimum of two or more availability zone. Then that particular area is known as region. So look at this. This particular region is having three availability zone. And I've told you inside availability zone, like inside availability zone, you have data centers. So if like it can be a single data center, or it can be more than one data center. So look at this, inside this availability zone, we have three data centers. So all these three data centers are near to each other. That's why this whole area is known as a single availability zone. So each region has multiple availability zone. You can check in the diagram also. This region is having three availability zones. Each availability zone is a fully isolated portion of AWS infrastructure, because these are isolated to each other. If there are three data centers, suppose let's take an example of this EU West 1A availability zone. It contains three data centers. All data centers will be minimum 40 to 50 kilometers apart. Okay, so that they will be isolated to each other. They will be connected. There is a difference between isolation and connection. They will be connected to each other, but how they're isolated? Suppose something goes wrong in this area where data center 1 is there inside availability zone, then it won't impact data center 2 and data center 3. That's why there is some distance so that they will be isolated to each other. Okay. So there are currently 69 availability zones. So worldwide we have 69 availability zones, which are the part of multiple regions. Availability zone consists of discrete data centers. So look at this. These are the data centers which contains all the hardwares which are using as a part of AWS services. They are designed for fault isolation. So they are designed in such a way if some fault will happen, there's going to be automatically, like taken care, I would say. Like fault isolation. Suppose, like there is some, suppose I'm using some cooling device. If suppose, like first level of cooling gets disturbed, then automatically it's going to move to second level of cooling. For example, some hardware they have created, so they have done some kind of a mechanism inside data center. If some hardware fails, then it's going to automatically replace the hardware. There will be minimum manual intervention for the connectivity and all. Manual things are done, but they have done some kind of automation so that they can do a fault isolation. So some fault will be there that can be resolved quickly, or there will be some kind of a automation they have done so that there will be some kind of a fault isolation. Okay, and now they are interconnected with other availability zone by using high-speed private networking. So let's take an example. There are three availability zones here in EU West one. So all these availability zones are also connected to each other through AWS network only. So these are the private networking. All the communication is inside privately. Okay, what about others? Can you is my video stuck, guys? Asha is having issues. He's telling my video is stuck. Other can see my video. Asha, I think you are having a little bad network, so please try to connect again. Okay, others are also facing the same issue. You are able to see the videos. Okay, so I think others can see my video. Asha, please check out your network. Okay, so now you choose your availability zone. So whenever you create any, any, AWS infrastructure, you have the power to choose your region. You have the power to choose your availability zone as well. In which particular availability zone you're going to launch your AWS services. AWS recommends replication data and resources across availability zone for resiliency. So AWS highly recommend that whenever you are creating any kind of an application, you should make it highly available. Now, how you will make it highly available? By replicating the data and the AWS resources to multiple availability zones. As I told you, each availability zone is isolated to each other, and these are apart. So one availability zone is apart, it is apart from another availability zone for around 500 to 600 kilometers. So you have to make sure if you want to create any high availability environment, then in that case you have to you have to replicate your data and resources across multiple availability zones so that your application will be highly available. So for example, suppose I have used this EU Western region, and inside that I have replicated my data and resources across EU West 1A and EU West 1B. If suppose tomorrow I know these both availability zones are apart, 500 to 600 kilometers apart. So suppose if some hurricane came in EU West 1A and the application, this application, so this availability zone 1 got disturbed, some components got destroyed. But since I have made my application highly available by replicating my data and resources across my availability zone 2 as well, that is EU West 1B. So though this disaster happened inside availability zone 1, then too my application won't get impacted. Still my application will be up and running. I won't be losing the data. That is the meaning of highly available. In the cases of disaster also, my application is up and running. My customer is able to interact with the application without any issue. That's the meaning of high availability. So now you understood. So somebody was having doubts with, yeah. So who was there? Just a minute. Yeah, Kaushal. So now is it clear? What is the availability zone? Just response. Please respond now. Okay. So Roshan, can you hear me? Sorry, Kaushal, can you hear me? Yeah, cool. Okay. So now this is AWS data centers. So this we are going to discuss tomorrow from here. Let's do that activity, the pricing calculator. Let me search out AWS pricing calculator and complete that activity. So this is the pricing calculator link. So yesterday I've given you to create one estimate. Okay. So let's create one estimate, guys. Click on pricing calculator. Let's create one estimate from here. Okay, so what was the requirement? So this was the application stack. The region should be Asia Pacific. So inside the Asia Pacific, first of all, I have to create one Linux machine estimate. Let's search EC2. Let's click on configure. Okay, let's put it like, XYZ client. Region is Mumbai. Asia Pacific Mumbai. Because I've told you that once you will move from one region to another, the pricing is going to be different. So now let's see, we have to first create Linux instance. OS is going to be Linux. Yes, OS is Linux. Now it is telling us VPC should be 8 and memory should be of 64 GB. So let's change this. So look at this. Currently it is giving us this instance type. Once I will change the configuration to 8 VPCU and 64 GB of memory. Now look at this. It has changed the instance type. RCC.2XR is the instance type. Now let's come down. And now the quantity you have to use 1, utilization is 100%. So it is by default it is there. So let's come down and now let's check out the pricing strategy. It is telling this will be the on-demand instance. So let's select the on-demand instance and now let's check out the price. So price of using this instance per month will be $189.80. Now let's add the blob storage where our operating system will be installed. So the blob storage will be provision IOP SD, which will be of higher cost. So let's add this. Let's select this SSD IOP 1. Yes, same thing. With 25,000 IOPs. Okay, so don't ask me what is this IOPs and all. They will discuss once we will reach out to this storage section of the course. Okay, just you have to create the estimate. You should get the same value which I'm going to get now. Now storage amount we have to select 50 GB. Okay, now just come down and check out the calculation of this storage. So we are going to charge $1,706 per month for using this kind of a highly, this kind of a storage. This is very, very fast. Now we'll come down, look at this. It is coming as $1,896 for this particular machine. So let's click on add to estimate. Okay, so this is added. Now let's see what we have to add. Now we need to add the Windows instance. That is the second requirement. Yeah, money. Just check out. Okay, I will show you how you can select that. Okay, guys. So now check out the Windows Server instance we have to configure. So here we have to click on Add Services. So select EC2. Click on Configure. So we are under Mumbai region. There we have to create the AWS infra. So now we have to select the Windows machine. Select the Windows Server. What is the requirement? VPC is 8 and memory is 32 GB. Let's change this. Let's change the VPC to 8 and memory is 60. What was another? So memory is 32 GB. Okay. So based on that, we got one solution. Instance type that is 3A.2x large. Now quantity is 1, utilization is 100%, pricing. Oh, I'm so sorry. We are going to do this chance. Yeah, quantity is 1. Utilization is 100% and pricing strategy is reserve instances for 1 year with no upfront cost. Quantity is 1, utilization 100%. Let's come down and change the pricing strategy to standard reserve instances for 1 year with no upfront cost. This is the calculation of the instance. It is going to cost around $198 per month. Let's add the EBS volume here. So EBS volume we are going to add is of general purpose with 40 GB storage amount. Let's scroll down. So select this general purpose and storage will be of 40 GB. Now look at this. Under the estimate, this will be your cost of a particular storage, 4.56 USD. Now look at this. Previously, we were using this, IOPS, which was costing a lot because that is the best in the class. Okay. So based on the quality of, services you're going to use, you have to pay a bit extra. Now come down, look at this. For using this service per month, you're going to be charged $202. Okay. So let's add to this estimate. Now third one is we have to add one database server, that is MySQL database server. Click on add service. Click on select RDS. Now you'll just come down and you have to select Amazon RDS for MySQL. Yeah, same thing. Amazon RDS for MySQL. Click on configure. So quantity is going to be one. Instance db.m4.2x large. Okay. Just come down. Just try to select this. db.m4.2x.large. Okay, look at this. db.m4, it should be there. X large, M4, X large, M4 large, okay, 16, 2x large. It is here. db.m4, 2x large. Same thing I have mentioned. db.m4.2x large. Money it is here. Okay, you can just check out the list. Cross it and then check out the list. It will be there. It is having 8 VPC and 32 GB of memory. Now just scroll down and check out the utilization and deployment. So look at this. Utilization will be 100%. Deployment will be single availability zone. So just change it to single availability zone. Multiple availability zone means when you're deploying your database server into multiple availability zone. Now let's check the pricing model. It will be on demand and storage will be of IOPS types. This is going to be on demand. Under the calculation, you're going to see this is going to be the monthly bill of using this particular RDS instance for MySQL. Now let's add the storage here also. It's going to be, general purpose SSD, not general purpose SSD. You have to provision IO01. So select this IO01. Provisioning amount will be your 40,000. 40,000, yeah, 40,000 IOPS. Going to be 40,000 IOPS. And storage amount is going to be 70 GB. This is going to be the cost of your storage, 4,209, because we're using IOPS SSD, which charged us a lot. Okay. Now let's also add one backup storage, because you also have to take the backup of your database. So let's add a 50 GB of backup storage. Yeah, 50 GB. Now let's calculate it. It is coming around 4.75 USD as a backup storage. Okay. So now let's check out the estimation price of this particular service, which is 4,933 USD. Click on add to my estimate. So now look at this. Okay, so look at this. This is the final price which is coming. So you can just, this is a monthly expenditure 7,000 something, and this is your final expenditure 84,392 USD per year you have to spend if you're using this kind of a services then for your infra. You can now create a group. XYZ client. Click on create group, and now you can click on my estimate, choose these services and move to the group. Click on move. Now these services are a part of your this particular estimate group. So I hope you guys are also getting the same kind of result. Okay, just check out. Okay, maybe you would have missed something, Sonia. Maybe you would have missed some kind of a step. You can check out. You will get this kind of a result. Maybe some of the other configuration would be different. That is not an issue. We have to select RDS. Okay, we select RDS. I'll tell you. So just click on add service. Search for RDS. Now look at what I mentioned. Amazon RDS for MySQL. Come down. You see Amazon RDS for Oracle, for SQL Server, for MariaDB. Like that, you will have Amazon RDS for MySQL. You can click on configure and you will be able to configure that. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, these price keep on changing. It depends on AWS. Okay, they can increase the price also. They can decrease the price also. And when you go from one region to other, they change the price. So Sonia, maybe you would have not selected some configuration. If you will go to the question again, you will get this kind of answer only. 84,000 something. Okay. So What is RDS? Is a relational database. With the help of this RDS, you create a with the help of this relational database service, you create your database server. That is a simple, you know, definition about RDS. I'm going to explain you once you reach out this session. So for now, you should know RDS is used to create your database servers. It is a managed services. AWS, it comes under AWS managed service, which is used to create your database servers. Okay, so I think I've answered all the questions. So we are done with this activity. Let me close this calculator, and we still have 5 minutes. So now I think we can check out this slide. Okay, let's check out this slide, and then we're going to wrap up. Now, what is AWS data centers, guys? AWS data centers are the data centers which are created by AWS, which are designed for security. So all the hardware, everything is placed inside your data center. Like your on-premises data centers, we are the same AWS data centers which are created and managed by AWS. Data centers are where the data resides and data processing occurs. All your data, since they have created all the hardware, all your data, application data, customer data will be resided on those hardwares, which are the part of data centers. Each data center has redundant power, networking connectivity, and is housed in a separate facility. I've told you they have multiple redundant power. So let's take an example. There are three levels of backups. Suppose the first power backup got any fault, the system will automatically move to the second power backup. So it is redundant. It won't fail very easily. Networking, if suppose your availability zones are connected to different availability zones. If the first, like if your primary network fails, it will move to the secondary network. That's how they have created the redundant network. Okay, and so that's why it is connected privately. So each data centers are isolated to other data centers, and each data center is created in a separate facility. Our data centers typically having 50,000 to 80,000 physical servers. Look at this, how big they are. 50,000 to 80,000 physical servers on which multiple global clients are there which are running their applications. Okay. Okay. So any example of OS that server used to run? Yeah, money. Server runs your Linux OS, all the flavors of Linux. Like you have Red Hat, you have your Ubuntu, CentOS, etc. You can run your Windows OS on the server. You can also run your Mac OS on the server. These are the example of your OS. I hope it is clear now. Okay. So this is about your AWS data centers. Simple data centers are the same data center. These data centers are created by AWS, which are redundant, which are having multiple power backup, multiple network backup, high security is there, and which contains all your what do you say, hardware components on which your applications are hosted. All your data are stored inside these data centers only. Okay, so this is about AWS data center. We're going to start with point of presence tomorrow. So we still have 2 minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And why banks are not trusting? Who is telling banks are not trusting? The multiple banks are there which are using AWS services to build the. And who told banks are not trusting? Have you heard any news somewhere, money, that the banks are not willing to move to AWS cloud? It's not like that. AWS also, like provide some kind of a. But you said MySQL database, bank use. No, databases are used by whether you have an e-commerce application, whether you have a bank application, everyone uses databases. Every application is having a database, and data is an integral part where all the, details about your, like application or customer details will be there inside the database. So it is not about only banks are using the, banks are using the, databases. So databases are used by every application. Database is an integral part of each and every application. Without database, you cannot create any application. Where you will store the data? You need some place, na? Whether it is banking app or e-commerce app, they will use the database. Even multiple banks are there who are the part of AWS. Bank of America is there. They have built their infra on AWS only. It's not like that. People are moving to AWS. It's not a problem. Okay, so somebody is asking me one more question. Let me just give you this form, guys. So by the time you can just fill out this form. for the feedback, and I will answer your queries. Okay. Okay, let me just put it in the chat. I hope it is clear, money. So please don't assume like that banks are not. AWS is very secure. They're having multiple security services, which makes it secure. Somebody is asking me, what if region goes down like Ukraine situation? Is that a senior, scenario? Is a disaster recovery required? Yeah, definitely disaster recovery required. That is a disaster recovery scenario. Okay, if suppose suppose Ukraine was one of the region. Okay, let's consider Great Britain is another region. So if I have created a highly available application and I have applicated my resources and data across region, then if something goes down in Ukraine, then to my application will be survive. It will survive. That is a highly availability. Now let's come to disaster recovery. Suppose Ukraine is down, my whole infra was the part of Ukraine only. Because mainly my application was running inside the Ukraine customer. If suppose my application is down there, then there are some tools, there are some services. So based on that, you can recover from this disaster pretty fast. So we have one session disaster recovery that and under that we are going to discuss this kind of a scenario and tools. Okay, Raghavendra. What is IOPS in storage? And don't ask me. I've told you. Don't ask me now. It is input output per second because once you will go to this session, I'm going to tell you. But for now, it is input output per second. That means how much data is coming as an input and how much data is going as an output per second. That is IOPS. Okay. So we're going to discuss this in the storage. But for now, it is input output per second. How much data is getting input in your storage and getting output from your storage per second. Okay, Hital. Okay, guys. So I think you are giving the feedback finally, and I think I've answered all the queries. Nothing is left. Yes. So let's wrap up today's session, and we're going to discuss the remaining topics of this module number 3 tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining the session, and we're going to see each other tomorrow. Please revise all the concepts. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye bye. Sonia, why you want to open the account? Please use the canvas for 2.5 months. After that, you can open your AWS account. Okay. Please use the canvas now. You can do everything on canvas. So please don't. You can take advantage of canvas. After 2.5 months, you can create the account. It's very easy. I've told you the steps. Okay. Thank you.